Hey everybody, welcome back to Tech Odyssey. So here I have in my hand the 2019 MacBook Pro 16-inch. It's got the dedicated GPU in it. It's got the Intel i7 processor. Cost about $2,400 when it came out last year. Well, year before last, now it's been around a little while. And this video, totally not about it. It's about the much smaller, much less expensive, sleeker 2020 MacBook Air with the M1 chip in it, and why this is a tremendously better value for 99% of the world, and definitely what you should buy as opposed to the larger one in almost every scenario. This is an amazing laptop, and not that the 16-inch MacBook Pro isn't, but the price point, what you can do in this with the power, the productivity, everything that they put together in this laptop is just a dream for pretty much anything that you can think of. And if you're interested in getting into YouTube, if you want to use Final Cut Pro, if you want to edit videos, this sucker right here will edit and render 4K video like nobody's business at a significantly reduced cost, and you still get all the other bells and whistles. Mac OS Big Sur, 13.3-inch screen, Quad HD Plus resolution, 8 gigs of RAM minimum, and then you've got, I'm going to save it. We'll talk about it more in this video, but this is just such a great deal. I thought, let me sit down and tell everyone about it, because I traded in my 2020 i5 MacBook Pro that I bought my wife, and I got her this. And we're going to talk about it in this video. But before we get into that, I do want to say if this is your first time stopping by the channel, thank you for being here. If you enjoyed the video, please hit the like and the subscribe button and the little notification bell if you want updates when new videos come out. Let's talk about the 2020 MacBook Air. So you're probably wondering why in the world I have my 2019 16-inch MacBook Pro here. Well, that's because it's the latest and greatest that they have in the 16-inch model. This right here has really been reserved for people who want to do serious work on their laptop, especially their MacBook. So when you look at the MacBook, typically if you want to do rendering, if you want to do graphics design, if you want to do editing, video editing especially, you really have to have that dedicated GPU that's inside of the 16-inch. That's why you couldn't go buy the regular MacBook Air. That's why you couldn't go buy the 13-inch MacBook Pro, because it just didn't have that. Well, that meant you had to spend about $2,400. And I bought this. I bought this at about May of last year, before the M1 existed out in the consumer market. Nobody knew what this was. And I thought, hey, this is what I need. This is what I need to edit video. This is what I need to be a content creator. This is what I need so I can edit my video and not have any limitations anywhere, wherever I need to go. Well, all that is true, and you can still do that, but $2,000 versus $999 is a tremendous difference, and I think they dropped the price to $949 because I think we're anticipating possibly an M1 X or an M2 chip coming out later this year. This guy right here comes in 3 colors. Comes in rose gold, space gray, or silver, all the classic colors. You can get it starting with 256 gigs of storage, which I don't recommend. That's going to be used up like that, especially if you're editing 4K video. But if you're not doing video editing and video rendering, you can probably get the 256. But what's nice about Mac OS is it's very easy to set up an external SSD hard drive as a secondary hard drive and not just as normal storage. There are a lot of things you can do with it. Very versatile. I really kind of like Mac OS, and I hated it for so long. And don't tell anyone. I mean, you can tell anyone, really. I mean, I hated it. I was always a PC guy. I'm like, I can't play games on it. I can't do this. I can't do that. Ooh, you have to click in the top left to close the window instead of the top right. Keep it away from me. Well, then came necessity, which is the mother of all invention. And I mean, really, my wife kicked me out of the bedroom because I was staying up till like 2 o'clock in the morning on my computer editing on my desktop. So it's like, well, honey, for the sake of our marriage, you need to go edit videos elsewhere and quit keeping me up. So I thought, okay, I got to go get the MacBook Pro 16-inch 2019 model because that's what I need to edit video. And at the time, that kind of was a true statement. But now, this guy right here, tremendously better value. If I could go back in time and they had this, I would buy it 10 out of 10 times. You got the unified shared memory, you've got the M1 processor, and people have been talking about this for so long. I mean, there's probably like 4 different hymnals already singing the praises of Apple and the M1 chip. They did some great things. And there's not even any fans in here. It's super cool and quiet, just like your phone. Why? Because it basically has a large phone processor in it. And that's where they're going with this. It uses an RISC reduced instruction set chipset, basically an ARM processor, which is what you get in your phone. So in this one, they have the GPU, which is the graphics card, and the CPU, which is a central processing unit, all in the same chip. Sharing the same memory, it streamlines everything. It uses less watts, less power, produces less heat, get better battery life. It's basically amazing for almost everything. It's good. And you get it for $1,000. And with this, you can edit 4K video like a champ. I've been doing nothing but exclusively 4K video. I have the same chip in my Mac Mini. I am Mac'd out now. Like, I've got the Mac Mini, I got the MacBook Pro, I've got all the stuff. I'm still not a big Apple fan, but I can't deny the fact that it's good. And if it's good and it's something that I think people should benefit or could benefit from, then I'm going to tell you about it because I have a tech channel. That's what I do. I'm not going to play the bias game because this is objectively probably the best pound per pound computer you can buy on the market. It does absolutely everything you need it to do. So the M1 chip in here, Quad HD plus graphics, no fan, just regular air cooling the sucker. That's how performance efficient it is, and it doesn't produce a ton of heat. It's got 2 Thunderbolt or USB-C ports over here on the side. That's probably just about the only complaint that I have. I wish it had 4. So you basically have to bump it up and get to the MacBook Pro to get 4. I guess they figure that a Pro person needs 2 more ports. Like, not 1, 2 more ports, sir. So I wish you had that, but it's not really that big of a deal. This is something that you can use on the go. If you use it at home, I highly recommend plugging into a dock and using an external monitor. That's what I do with my Mac Mini. I have it connected to a dock, and then I have everything plugged into it. It works great. So you get all the versatility and the flexibility of a MacBook Pro, but it's called a MacBook Air, and you get all the functionality of a desktop if you use it with a docking station at home, and you can do everything you want with it. You can get even 30 days of Final Cut Pro to see if you like it. And that's a great thing. If you think this might be for you, you can pick it up. You can try the free trial. If you don't like it, well, I mean, you can get rid of it, take it back. But I think that you'll find, and of course this isn't a sales ad, I'm just letting you know because I got another one. I bought my wife the 2020 i5 MacBook Pro last year, and I was so angry because like 6 weeks after I bought it, they came out with this. I'm like, are you kidding me? Like, are you really kidding me? So I feel like they did really wrong by a lot of people. They ripped a lot of people off. They put this product out, didn't say, hey, don't worry, 2 months down the road, we've got the M1 coming, which you're going to want. Buy this now. So they got me there. My wife decided she wanted to start a YouTube channel. She makes Tesla videos. If you like that, she's much better looking than me and much more entertaining. You can go watch her videos, but then I would lose views. But either way, watch both of us. That'll work better. So I bought her the MacBook Pro, and here, honey, you can use this. This will work fine. You're only doing 1080p video. You're making 1 video a week. It might take 30 minutes to export, 40 minutes to export, but that's not that big of a deal because you're not making 5, 6, 7 videos a week like I am. So now that she's making 1, 2 videos a week, she doesn't have enough space on there. I got the M1. I got her the 512 model instead of the 256. Plus, we have an external SSD, which is a very, very easy way to add additional storage. This is it. And I tried letting her use my 2019 MacBook Pro 16-inch, but it's so big. And it's very heavy, too. I mean, the MacBook Air, under 3 pounds. It's like 2.8 pounds. It's super light. And then you get this one, this gigantic guy over here. So it's much bigger. It's much heavier. Of course, this one has the little touch toolbar, which I actually like a lot. A lot of people complain about it, but I really enjoy it. So it's got the same fingerprint sensor on here. You've got the function keys up top, which some people actually like. You've got the dual speakers, so you got 1 speaker on each side of the keyboard. A very, very well laid out keyboard. It's a pleasure to type on, and then probably the best touchpad you can get on any laptop. It works so good, and it's so intuitive, especially with macOS Big Sur. And now we've got Monterey coming down the pipeline later this year. They have done such a good job with this. It's such a nice user experience. And I don't even use a regular mouse with my Mac Mini. I was born and raised on the 2019 MacBook Pro. I love the touchpad. I fell in love with it. It's so nice with the gestures and the swiping and everything when you're using Mac OS. So even when I got my M1, I said, nah, forget the mouse. I'm going to use the Magic Trackpad on here, and I totally love it. And it's also a very seamless experience if you want to hop between a laptop and also your regular Mac desktop. And what makes it so great, there used to be such a price hurdle. Like, you would have to pay out the rear to get a really well-performing high-end Mac computer. And it's like, look, if you want the Mac Pro or you want the MacBook Pro, you're spending $3,000, $4,000, $5,000, $6,000, $7,000 for these things. And otherwise, you're kind of left out in the wind. Like, well, what are you going to do with the MacBook Pro? I mean, why do I want to spend $1,200 to edit Word documents? You know, that's just too much. So they've made it much more functional. They've made it much more usable. It's sleek. It's nice. It's lightweight. You get all the great colors. And you get all the performance of a $2,400 MacBook Pro in a $999 or $950 package. And they even do trade-ins with older Apple stuff. Like, I paid like $1,100 for her 2020 MacBook Pro last year, But this is such a significant upgrade. I'm trading that in. It gave me $700 toward this, so I paid, after all was said and done, I ended up getting the 512 with the upgraded processor, because if you get the entry-level one, it's got 7 cores and 8 GPU cores, I think is what it is. And if you pay a little bit more, you get the 8 and 8, which is really what you want. It's not the end of the world if you want to go the cheap route. If you're not doing video editing, totally you don't need it. But this right here, I just wanted to make this video to tell you guys that all the hype you're hearing out there is the real deal. And I'm not an Apple guy. I'm really not. If you've seen my other videos, you know I have hefty criticism for the Church of Apple. And yes, I believe that their products are very good. They function very well. They're very seamless. They're very boring. I mean, they are. I made a video before saying that the iPhone is the most boring phone, I think. It is. You can pick up an iPhone 6S and it has the same operating system. Like, nothing has changed. And that's one reason why I like Android so much, is because there's so much that changes over time. They're always upgrading the user interface. There's a lot of excitement in the Android world, but in Apple, it's very blasé. And maybe that's just me, I don't know. But this, I don't care. It's Apple, but it works great. And if you're looking for something that you don't have to worry about as far as viruses as much as PC, if you want something that when you pick it up 3 or 4 years later, it's going to turn on and work just as smoothly. If you want to be able to edit 4K video for the next 5 or 6 years, this will do it all. And it has great battery life too, because it's got the ARM chipset in it. And that's something that in the PC world, they just haven't managed to nail down yet and make very viable. And now they're moving to Microsoft Windows 11. I mean, 10, I think they're going to, end of life for 10 is going to be like 2025, but they're getting ready to announce Windows 11. So there's a lot of concern and change over in the Microsoft world, whereas things just keep getting better and better. Now, yeah, if you want to play video games, totally, yeah, you're still going to want a PC. But if you want something that will allow you to work at home, work on the go, do everything that you need it to do, basically, and do it well, especially when it comes to video editing and things like that. This right here is the best investment you could possibly make for the longevity. If you want to start a YouTube channel, if you do this professionally, or you do it, just on the side, if you like doing video editing as a hobby, if you want some, and not even just that. I know I harp on this a lot, but the M1 is so powerful, it does things that require power, and it does things that don't require power equally. It does them smooth, it does them very seamlessly, and I've just been in love with this. So I wanted to share this with you, because from one-to-one, me to you, it's a great value. It's a great thing that I have a hard time saying that Apple has done something that benefits people. And I think they've realized they've got the top tier segment, but now there's a place out in the world where people want the same level of productivity and performance, but they don't want to spend $4,000, $5,000, $6,000, $7,000, $8,000. And this right here is it. And it's got a nice screen too. It's got the nice Retina display. It's not HDR. It's not an OLED. It's not any of that fancy jazz. It's a very nice looking 13-inch LCD, and it'll serve you really well. It's not a touchscreen, none of that crazy stuff, but this right here, I wish this was available when I bought my 2019 MacBook Pro. I wish it was available when I bought my wife's 2020 MacBook Pro. This is the late model 2020 with the M1 chip, and it's the bee's knees. And I just wanted to tell you guys about it because I bought another one. In the last year and a half, I've bought a Mac Mini. I've got a MacBook Pro 2019 16-inch, and then the 13-inch from my wife, which got traded in for this guy. So if that's not a testament to how good the hardware is and how well it does what it's supposed to do, I don't know what else is. So that's all I've got in this video. Just wanted to share this with you guys. If you have any questions or comments you want to talk about it, please sound off in the comment section. I will totally get back with you. And if you enjoy the video, please hit the like and the subscribe button and the little notification bell if you want updates when new videos come out. And as always, thanks for being here. I appreciate you watching, and I'll see you guys next time.